They expected a war. They prepared for arguments, for screams, for rage. But what they didn't expect was silence. No final message, no explanation, no closure, just your absence. And that silence? It started to scream louder than any word ever could. It haunted them. It echoed in their mind. Because sometimes the greatest punishment is not revenge, not retaliation, but vanishing. This isn't about playing games. This is about reclaiming your power. It's about recognizing that when someone no longer values your presence, you give them the most painful gift of all, your absence. This is the Stoic way of dealing with betrayal, disrespect, and emotional manipulation. Not through chaos, but through calm. Not through words, but through complete detachment. Ghost them and watch. Watch how your silence becomes their torment. 1. The art of disappearing, a Stoic response to disrespect. Stoicism isn't weakness, it's mastery over the self. And when someone crosses the line, again and again, you don't argue. You don't try to explain what they refuse to understand. You withdraw. You see, there comes a time when silence is not avoidance. It's strategy. It's not escape. It's freedom. The Stoics believed in emotional discipline. When others tried to provoke them, they didn't fight fire with fire. They simply stopped feeding the flame. Ghosting is the same. It's choosing peace over chaos. It's not because you don't care anymore. It's because you care more about yourself. 2. Psychological warfare. Why ghosting triggers. Their ego. Most people aren't looking for love. They're looking for control. And when you ghost them, you remove the one thing they were feeding on, your attention. They wanted drama. You gave them emptiness. They wanted you to chase. You disappeared. They wanted power. You broke the game. Now, they're left staring at a screen, wondering why the text never came. They refresh. They scroll. They stalk your social media because they cannot accept that you're gone without a sound. In psychology, this is cognitive dissonance. Their brain can't reconcile your silence with their imagined dominance, and so they unravel. They expected anger. You gave them indifference, and that's what truly destroys them. 3. The rules of Stoic ghosting. When and why to walk away. Ghosting shouldn't be used recklessly. This isn't childish behavior. It's a sacred tool, one that should only be used when you've communicated your boundaries and they've been repeatedly ignored. You're being manipulated emotionally. You realize your presence is being exploited, not respected. You feel exhausted, not elevated, by their energy. The Stoics were selective with their company. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." If they're not making you better, wiser, or calmer, they're making you worse. When a connection poisons your peace, it is your duty, not just your right, to remove yourself. Silently, instantly, entirely. 4. How your absence becomes their mirror. Ghosting someone who wronged you is like holding up a mirror to their soul. Suddenly, they have no one to blame, no one to manipulate, no one to gaslight, just silence and themselves. That's when the guilt creeps in. That's when the truth begins to surface. Because while you are healing, focusing, growing, they are stuck in the prison of wondering. They don't know what's happening in your life anymore. They're locked out. And that uncertainty tortures the ego more than any insult ever could. You didn't destroy them. They destroyed themselves by pushing away the one person who was real. 5. They will return, but you won't be there. They always come back, not because they've changed, but because your silence triggered curiosity, regret, and obsession. They will text, "Hey, just checking in," They will call with fake concern. They will test the waters. But by then, you've already evolved. You've built yourself back up in peace. You've learned how to be whole without them. When they return, you won't feel tempted. You'll feel confirmed that walking away was the best decision you ever made. Because a Stoic does not re-enter storms, he has already survived. 6. Your presence was the privilege. Your absence is the lesso. Let's be clear. You were not a placeholder. You were not an option. You were not disposable. You were a gift. Your energy, your loyalty, your empathy, that was rare. But they treated it like it was common. So now, they'll feel what it's like to be without it. And trust me, they will feel it. Your absence teaches them that real people don't beg to be loved, that once respect is gone, so is access, that your time is sacred. They may not admit it, but deep down, they'll know. They lost something they'll never find again. 7. The rebirth of you. Rising after the ghost. When you ghost someone for the right reasons, it's not an end. It's a beginning. You rediscover your peace. You return to your purpose. You reconnect with your inner stillness. In the absence of chaos, clarity is born. Your days become lighter. Your energy feels protected. Your mind becomes sharper, and you begin to attract people who see your worth immediately, not after losing it. That is your reward for walking away, the rebirth of the stronger you. 8. Remaining untouchable, Stoic. Silence as a superpower. They may talk about you. They may invent stories. They may blame you for everything. Let them. You don't need to defend yourself, because silence is a shield. It is not cowardice. It is control. You no longer react. You no longer explain. You no longer break character just to make a point. You let your evolution be your response. You let your peace be your revenge. You let your absence speak for you. That's what makes you untouchable. That's what makes you powerful. Final words. Walk away without looking back. Ghost them and never turn around. Not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself enough to let go. The world is loud. Drama is easy. Arguments are endless. But true strength is silence. True power is walking away with your dignity. And real punishment is your absence. Because eventually they'll realize you weren't the problem. You were the peace. And now you're gone. Be the storm that leaves no trace, but leaves them changed forever. Subscribe for more powerful Stoicism and psychology. Comment Stoic if you agree.